What's up, everybody?
Hi,
Welcome back to the
everybody.
mix.
Welcome back to Talk Mix.
We're so excited to be here. We have been, both of us have been pretty vocal and obsessed about this show. Tina actually introduced me to Cobra Kai because I was thinking it was going to be a whole different thing of just the dojo and
Oh, yeah.
everything. So we are excited. So what we're going to do is we're going to break down a couple episodes.
Right.
So we're going to do today, we're doing season 3, episodes 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure to come back.
All right. So this is the first season of Cobra Kai that has actually been for Netflix itself. Before, it was made for YouTube Red and then brought to Netflix. And then Netflix decided, hey, we're going to produce our own seasons of Cobra Kai.
And they actually just signed for season 4.
Nice.
That's going to be fun.
So we have a lot of fun things to talk about. And, you were telling me before that you were expecting a little bit more with the first episode of Cobra Kai than what we got. What were you expecting? Were you expecting more fighting and punching and people and dying and whatever? What were you expecting?
So I was expecting, I really liked that they did title it The Aftermath, how everything was going to, and I did like that they made it real life, because most shows they just beat up, punch, kill, do whatever, and then they're back to eating dinner with their families. So I did like how they did the whole they're looking for an arrest, one's in the hospital, they're on probation and they're in trouble at school. The school is taking precautions. So I love everything. They made it normal. They made it like, no, this is really what happens. Like, if you get in a fight, this is what happens. And so but I kind of was hoping for a little more. Like, I was hoping the kids would have gone outside of the school and been like, you hurt Miguel and blah blah blah, and Sammy said she loved you but she really doesn't, but in real life she does. And like, I don't know if I was looking for more action. I was just, the hype of the trailer got me excited. So, but the smart thing for TV and film is to keep the stuff for the last part. So I get it. I do get it. But was hoping for a bit more.
Well, that was just for the first episode. I mean, we get to see that, Miguel is still in the hospital. He's been in a coma. We can see what's going through his head in his dreams. Mm-hmm. And, he's been there for a couple of weeks. So the first episode takes place within 2 weeks after the season finale. Mm-hmm. And we have our kids. One has run away. The other one is suspended. Another one, mm-hmm. She was arrested and was expelled, and she's mm-hmm. on probation. So, mm-hmm. and then the other kids are just going back to their dojo like normal, or going back to school, because it was summer. It happened during summer, or like the very beginning of school, right? Mm-hmm. And now kids are like, I would never thought that we'd have karate gangs in our schools.
Yeah.
And people are saying that the LaRussos aren't like all that.
They portray themselves to be, right, mm-hmm. as the good guys, mm-hmm. as she put it. Yeah, I thought it was interesting that, that there were karate gangs in California.
In California. You would think you wouldn't think they would be high school kid karate gangs, but hey.
Yeah.
This is the world that they're in.
Yeah. But then again, High School Musical. Who would have thought kids would just bust out in music and
start dancing?
And start dancing and then how they made all the, all of them like high school jocks. They're the basketball players, but yet they were the gayest of the bunch. But they would come out and sing and frolic and dance and skip. And so I guess I could do that for karate.
Yeah, I liked how it was like when the kids were going back to in the school. It's like, well, hey, we're not the young ones and we're not the youngest ones. Now look, fresh meat, they're freshmen. And he's like, hey, hi, how are you? And she's like, oh, you got kicked in the nuts and then you peed in your pants. And he's like,
Yeah. And yeah. I was like, and I wasn't a fan of that one because I felt like he was the biggest antagonizer
Hmm.
in season two. Because he was like, actually, in all of them, season one and two, because that's when he made his change in season one, and then he
Right.
became back season two. He was like, no, I'm all about this. I'm all about this, and I'm gonna bully everyone before I get bullied. And like, I didn't like that whole. I'm kind of glad he got his ass kicked in the second season because he's the one that flew into the shelf, right? The
Hmm.
glass
Yeah.
like trophy
Hmm.
shelf.
Hmm. Yes.
But yeah, I am excited. I was kind of creeped out though with the guy that what is Peyton List's character's name? She's the one that got probation and
Right.
went to she was switched to a private school. And like, remember the handyman guy,
Hmm. Yeah.
how he
Because
was like, oh,
so
you can't pay rent, so you
I
know what I
can
mean? I was
think
like,
of other
oh,
ways you can
ooh,
work it out with me. Yeah.
yeah.
And I was like,
I was like,
mm,
I thought that was tacky to put it in, but at the same time, I was like, oh,
it's
that's kind of,
tacky, but shit like that happens.
and
It does.
it does, shit like
So
that does happen. And yeah, um, I'm not a fan of the flashbacks.
the flashbacks
Yeah, like
from previous.
how they would remember, like when Sammy went to the school and she, there were flashbacks of what happened, how she got
Mm.
scarred, and Miguel falling off, and we already know it. But I guess that's a good thing because then if you haven't seen,
Well,
the first two seasons, you
it
can
was
just jump
good
in.
to remind me because I was like, well, I'm not going to rewatch these, even though I saw them a couple of months ago.
Right.
So, even just a 30-second flashback is fine.
Mm,
It gives a bit bigger impact, and especially when it was going through Miguel's head, he was doing a fight. When he
right.
won
From
the
back, yeah.
competition, yeah, from
Yeah.
won the competition, and then
Hmm.
it was also playing over the fight that when he got injured. So, and you notice nobody could reach him until, but it was really, I, I guess we're going to talk about Johnny next, you know, because he was the big main focus on the first episode, seeing what happened to what the aftermath was for
Right.
him.
Right.
I just,
Of how he trained them and raised them and right taught them.
well, no, actually, I was thinking of how he was sitting in a bar and they were trying to kick him out, and they're like, all he'll drink is Coors Banquet. He doesn't want this other stuff, you know.
Oh, yes. Yes. He is that William Zabka,
William Zabka.
right? Because then Ralph Macchio is Danny LaRusso.
Mm-hmm.
Um, again, I wasn't even a fan of um, Danny LaRusso.
Mm-hmm.
Like even in the Karate Kid series, he was good for the character, but I wasn't a fan of his.
Right.
I always hoped more people would kick his ass because of how arrogant he got. Um, and it was all about Mr. Miyagi for me.
Right.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna lie. I loved his teachings. I loved the way he looked at things. So Johnny was. Do you think this first episode was more about him, or do you think? Because I noticed there wasn't a lot of kids this time. There was
It
more
was
adults.
more adults the past the first two episodes. So I know it's like you see what's going on with the kids, a little bit here and there, but we see really more what's going on in Johnny's head. He's like, oh, I feel sorry for myself, and then he's like, well, I need to see Miguel. So
Yeah,
then he gets it in his head. I need to see Miguel. So I just liked his different ways of trying to get into the hospital to see him
the doctor,
with the doctor.
and then bashing his
Hitting his
head.
head against the,
Yeah,
yeah.
and then
But
how he thought he had a little scratch on his back.
and I love
Remember when he lifted his? He's like, I could just put Neosporin, right? Or Bengay or something like that.
Bengay. We're
I was like,
like,
that is awesome.
that's
That is so
awful.
awesome.
And I'm like, props to the makeup department for making those look I'm like, are those real bruises? Those they look like
No,
real
it
bruises.
looked real.
Yeah,
It looked
it's
real.
real. I was
I
like,
was like,
did you
wow.
get injured with Zepka? And that's why they use that, because that's some ugly bruising right there. But
Yeah,
props to the makeup department for painting bruises on his back, because
right.
that looked real. That looked really real.
And maybe it'll show later on, but what is So you know how they showed that other one with the cafe back in 1965?
Oh yeah, um that was in the that's the beginning of the
Right.
second episode.
Because I've only seen the first two.
Right.
So,
I've
but
only seen the
I
first two.
wondered like what they were trying to go for with
They're
that.
trying to give you the backstory of the mean dojo guy. They're trying to give they're trying to give you his backstory
Oh,
of what happened to him,
oh,
you
and
know.
that's why they featured him a lot more
Mhm.
in that
Mhm.
episode. Because I remember
Mhm.
Danny LaRusso went to go see him.
Mhm.
Oh, sorry, I totally skipped ahead. What did you think of the teaming up? Because that was the end of episode one, right? Was them
Right.
saying, "Look, we can't let the kids be affected by our problem."
Our
Blah blah
mistake.
blah.
Mhm.
Yeah, like we need to work it out ourselves, but for now, we need to go look for your son,
Mhm.
basically. Like, do you think that's gonna be a nice team? Do you think it's gonna
Oh
last?
yeah.
Do you
Oh
think it's
yeah.
gonna?
I think, I mean, they're not going to be the best buds ever. Never. No. But I think they'll have eventually grow to some mutual respect with each other for each
Hmm.
other,
Yeah.
because nobody wants the other guy to
Oh, that's true.
you know.
Cripsy, or what's his name? The other sensei. Do you remember what his name was? I can't
Of
remember
course I
what
do, but it's on the tip of my tongue.
I can't Cripsy.
No,
Now that's
it's
gonna
not
bother
Cripsy.
me. Now that's gonna bother me. But yeah, so I thought, and that makes okay, so that makes sense because I was like, okay, so I'm not figuring out this what they're going back to, but then 1965, that wasn't the 80s when Danny LaRusso and Johnny met. So I was like, wait.
Wait.
So I was like, I'm not seeing what's happening, but
And his name is John Kreese, by the way. John Kreese. So is the character Kreese. So Kreese,
that's
the
right.
season two, he was we go into the diner, when we see the flashback to the diner, you think Kreese is the guy sitting in the booth with the girl, right? Because he's kind of a
Mm-hmm.
bully. But
Mm-hmm.
actually he was the kid in the soda who was the bus boy,
Yeah,
and he was
yeah.
and so they beat
Okay.
him up. So usually what happens with these kids sometimes, as we've seen already in the first couple of seasons, the bullied become the bullies, and that's
That's
what
true.
happened. And that's what happened with these kids.
That's true.
And so he became, so who, maybe we'll see more in the episodes to come.
I hope so.
Crease's journey to be trained in the ways,
Mm-hmm.
for karate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and why he turned into, seemed like a nice guy into an asshole, you know?
And that's usually the classic tale. Oh, you get bullied, so you become the bully too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my friend always said it was called prevenge, getting to them
Revenge.
before they get to you.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's sad. And I didn't know that was his story. I was trying to figure out, is this Johnny's parents?
No, that was
Like I was trying
Johnny.
to figure
Yeah,
it out.
because that is about the right age. I mean,
Right.
because
It would make sense because by the 80s, he would have already been, older and ready to train
in
him,
his
train
40s.
Johnny. So that makes more sense. Thank you for clearing that up.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think they're going to just focus on? Because I thought the two girls, Miguel and what is the son's name? David. But anyways, I thought those
Robbie.
four, for me personally, I thought they were the most standout. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I loved um mm, who was that? It was the nerdy one that beat up the kid with the mohawk.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I like his story. Like I like him too. So for me, those would be the standout characters for the kids. But I'm not gonna lie. I think from this moment on, I'm more interested in what happens to the adults.
I really think this season we're going to be seeing more focus on Danny and Johnny and their relationship and trying to work together. And then once they work stuff out with themselves, bringing the kids back in to figure things out, to make
Right.
things work with the
Right. Right.
community, and
Right.
probably with the community and with others. Because remember, in the next few episodes, they are going to be going to Okinawa to
Oh, I did not know that because
yeah,
I
they
haven't.
are.
I'm
Hmm.
trying not to watch it all at one time because
Oh no,
I'm not a binger,
right.
so I like to kind of space it out. Okay, that's not true. I do like to binge. Like I did binge the first two seasons of Cobra Kai, but that's because they were on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know if I watch ahead, because we're gonna do 2 episodes at one time. If I watch ahead, I'm probably gonna be like, Tina, get on. Let's do it right now. Tina, get on. Tina, are you free? Tina, can we just do just one episode of these two, 3 and 4? Come on, you ready? So if I distance myself, I'll probably be, I'll probably be better, and I won't be like, okay, now I'm dying to get like, because we film on Fridays, and
Mm-hmm.
so I don't want to watch it on Monday and be like, really, now I have to wait till Friday. Then I'm gonna watch more on Wednesday, and then I'll be like, really, I have to wait until Friday. So, and that's why I think the Korean dramas are nice, because they're
Mm-hmm.
weekly, so,
Right.
and they're 2 episodes at a time. So I love that. But I'm excited to see what happens more. As for now, I'm like, I'll keep watching, but I do want to see what happens.
Well, of course, there was there was some action in the second episode when they were bashing in those guys in that machine shop who stole the van, and and then they fought each other. I mean, and then the comedic, it's like they're trying to, we're chasing leads, like you're not,
Mm,
like in the trailer when we talked
mhm.
about, you guys aren't cops,
Yeah,
not even close to being cops,
yeah.
so this first 2 episodes, I mean,
That's true.
a lot of
That
time.
was pretty
Mm,
good. And the cafe scene where, he beat up the two other bullies that were bullying him. So yeah, there was some action. But I mean, when you go back to, cuz that ending of season 2 was like what? Like 12 to 15 minutes of straight
12, yeah.
fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I kind of figured, since they got everyone on a high, that it would have been another big fight scene, either
Mm-mm.
between um Danny and Johnny, or something. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
was just expecting something. So, and I shouldn't have, because I did go in
That
with a high expectation, and now I'm like, well, we'll see how the season goes.
Well, they ended season 2 at a climax,
They did.
so now they have to go down, and then they have to build their way back up,
Right.
to gain their
Build
momentum back
another
up. Mm-hmm.
suspenseful. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
wonder if they're going to do a cliffhanger again, or if they're going to be like, the wedding of Miguel and Sammy, or
No,
David falls in love with Sammy, or see, I don't even know the son's name. We'll call him David for now. If you know his
his
name,
name is
comment down
Robbie.
below.
His name is Robbie.
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 Robbie. Oh, that makes more sense. So, because I know Robbie liked Sammy. Like, is it going to be a happy ending, or
Mm-hmm.
is it going to be another suspenseful? You know what I mean? That's the kind of stuff I'm excited to watch. And I shouldn't binge watch it, but I probably will. Shh.
Right now, I really don't care about the kids. I really care about how
Totally.
Johnny and Danny are gonna learn to work together,
Yeah.
because they can't, and they kind of don't can't stand each other. But they're gonna try. Maybe they'll find that they have more common ground with the kids. And
Right.
so now I think
Right.
Johnny needs to learn some of the ways of Danny LaRusso,
Right.
and
And
then
Danny
Danny
LaRusso, vice
needs,
versa.
and vice versa. So once they both learn those techniques for each other, maybe the kids will learn, and then they'll expel Crease out of town.
That is a very good theory. That is a very good theory.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that. And we ended on a high climax with the adults.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, I don't know. And it's so weird, because I create so many different shows, and my mind, for some reason, cannot think of something for this one. So I'm like, because I saw the kids were coming. I saw the kids were going to fight. I saw that it was building up to that. But like this season, I wonder what they're going to build up to.
I don't
They're
know.
bringing back, Japan.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to go to Japan. So I wonder what else is going to be brought up. I don't know. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. But I think, as for now, I'm still meh. We'll see.
Well,
But we'll see how it goes. Because most
mm-hmm.
most of you have probably already binged
The
the
entire thing
entire
thing
season,
already.
because it's only a half an hour, and there was only like what, 10
10
episodes.
episodes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that could have been done during breakfast. Well, if you're at a buffet in Vegas
In Vegas.
with seafood
With
and
seafood.
mimosas. But so overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying the story with the adults. So I'm still gonna I'm still gonna watch it. Let's see if I can't control myself for binging it, because I know I'm gonna just let it keep playing. So now Netflix, this is the one time you need to ask me, are you still watching? Because then I can say no. But what do you think? Are you excited to see everything besides see how the adults come together, and like, is that pretty much it for this season for you too?
No, I think interested in seeing how when they go back to Okinawa, because I really like Kumiko's character, so I really like to see how they relate. I want to see how fish out of water. I think Johnny's gonna go. I wonder if Johnny's gonna go with him to Japan to Okinawa. Maybe not, but
That would be cool.
that'd be a fish out of water story for him in Okinawa.
Yeah, it
Definitely,
would.
that would be.
Oh,
Mm-hmm,
yeah. And I love Kumiko. I
mm-hmm,
loved her character. I loved everything about her, and she still looks great
mm-hmm.
from the parts they showed. You know, um, so
And who
yeah.
knows? Maybe Allie with an eye will show up.
Ooh, I know she
because
was
they
in.
because
I
they
know she
did
was in the talks, or she
they
was
did
in.
they did tease her at
Yes, they did.
at the season finale.
Yes,
So
they did.
hmm so
Yep.
maybe, who knows,
Mm.
maybe season 4 we'll get to see Elizabeth Shue.
Or
But for
maybe
right
this one
now, maybe this one, but for right now
we get Kumiko.
we get Kumiko.
Yes. Well, if you guys have watched it or are going to watch it, or you guys going to binge watch it, but what are your thoughts? Like, what do you guys think about season 3 so far? Because we're just excited to keep watching it.
So like and subscribe, and comment, like, subscribe,
Hmm.
watch our all other videos that we are
Yes.
reviewing in
And
TV
just get
series.
crazy all up in the mix, because we have
Hmm.
lots of videos for you to enjoy. So enjoy yourselves, and
We'll
we'll
talk
see
to
you
you
guys
later.
next time.